The Osasu Foundation is driven by certain core beliefs and values. Education is one of them. It is the only way to empower the children. They are our progeny. A child who thirsts for education and knowledge but does not receive it is a heartbreaking loss to our future. But a community of children who cannot access education foretells a future we cannot accept. So we do what we can to avoid this fate. The impact of a little support, not just for aid and supplies alone, but for structure and financial independence, can have groundbreaking effects in bringing hope and revival to a community. These people are not just numbers and statistics to the Osasu Foundation. They are beautiful beating hearts that dream, that hurt, that hope, just like everyone else. The only difference is that they are plagued by a lack which cuts deeper than ours in ways that is so hard to comprehend. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Osasu Show. Today we bring you a special episode from Port Harcourt, River State capital. We have an exclusive interview with His Excellency Barrister Nyesom Wike. We'll be speaking to everyday people in River State, asking them their testimonials, their feedback about the Nyesom Wike administration. Later on in the program, we have an interview with His Excellency. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back on the Osasu Show.
Wike administration, the way I am seeing it, for me as in a person, if I want to score him, I will score him 85% for now, for what I have seen. Why I will score him 85%? Infrastructure that I'm seeing within Port Harcourt and some other local government have been abandoned projects and other road infrastructures and all the rest of things. He happened to complete some of them.
I've seen other governors through, but seeing Governor Wike now as a governor, he's really trying very well. Just look at the Garrison Junction, those areas, he has really touched those areas. And since he became the governor, I think corruption has reduced a little. So I just pray we give him a chance to be there again and do more better than he has done.
Since Wike administration was going on, the man is trying perfectly. He's doing the appropriate job that he's supposed to do, and as I might know, the man is doing well. But people are talking bad about his administration. So, and in fact, I'm impressed since Wike is on seat.
Welcome back to the Osasu Show. Joining me right now is Executive Governor of River State, Barrister Nyesom Wike. Thank you so much for joining us in today's program. So the World Poverty Clock recently declared Nigeria as the poverty capital of the entire world, meaning that Nigeria is the poorest nation in the entire world. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation recently discovered that in 2050, Nigeria and Congo would house 40% of the poorest people in the world. As Executive Governor of River State, what are you currently doing to ensure that this statistic doesn't bewilder the people of River State?
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. And it's unfortunate that it's been predicated or been said that Nigeria is one of the countries in that's 2050 where you have people in line of poverty. And that tells you, as a country, where we're headed to. That tells you, as a country, where we have, or we're supposed to have democracy with an elected president. No state, the way we run, no state can say that by such a number of years I will eliminate poverty, or I will reduce the level of poverty without being affected by the policy of the federal government as it relates to the economy. If a country is not doing well economically, it means that that country cannot talk about coming out from the poverty level. Take for example today, Nigerian economy is predicated by the national policies of the ruling government. As we speak today, we have 2 ports, One and Port Harcourt. And you ask yourself, are those ports working? Poverty has to do with, 1, what is the level of unemployment? If the level of unemployment is high, of course we're talking about poverty. What's the level of those who are engaged in productive venture? You're talking about unemployment. If you go to Ode today, that's totally collapsed. People are not employed. If you look at Port Harcourt Port, that was dead as when Jesus Christ came. That means people are unemployed.
So we understand the level of employment right now is at 18%, double digits, level of unemployment, I should say, and we have about 33.10% of youths who are unemployed and underemployed. But what I'm asking you, Your Excellency, is what are you specifically doing to ensure that this statistics, that the level of people who are from River State indigents don't make up a high percentage of the statistics? 40% of the world's poor people will be based in Nigeria and Congo in just 38
That's
years.
what I'm saying.
So what opportunities have you created as governor of River State? Because we can talk about the inadequacies of...
No, you see, the point we are making when you say, what steps are you taking? And we forget the fact that ordinarily, as a federal system, that shouldn't be a problem. But unfortunately, we're not referring as supposed to be.
Your Excellency, this sounds to me like a very cheap cop-out in the sense that, take for example, Abia State, your colleague in the PDP. He was recently in China and he got one of the biggest cutting investors to come to his state to invest. Even the federal government announced that this man was coming to partner with Abia State as well as the federal government. He's also in the opposition party. So are you just making a case for River State solely? Are you looking at it individualistic in the sense that you are not actually, giving the federal government the credit that they deserve in terms that they're creating an enabling environment for investors to come in?
Unfortunately, the federal government told you that this partnership with Abia State was the reality on ground. Where are the Chinese people? What investment is there today in Abia State? As per this arrangement, it is easy to say, yes, Abia State is partnering with federal government. And the Chinese people are coming in to invest. Where are they? You see, we want to distinguish politics and reality. When you do that, then people will appreciate.
Actually, a point of correction, Your Excellency. I don't believe that's what the partnership is. The partnership is Abia State is in contact with the Chinese firm.
Chinese government cannot come into...
It's not the Chinese government. It's an individual corporation.
No. You're making a mistake. No Chinese firm can come into Nigeria or can come into Abia State. First of all, without the federal government giving visa, like River State today. You and I know, whether you deny it or not, that the federal government does not like River State. And they say, look, we're going to River State. We want to invest in River State. We have had instances. And federal government say, no, River State is not safe.
But I wonder why just River State? Because Abia is an opposition state, right? It's also held by the PDP. So I'm wondering, is this just a cheap cop-out? Is this what exactly is the bone of contention here?
No. I don't want you to bring me in conflict with my brother, the governor of Abia State. But you and I know one state that the federal government does not want to exist. One state that the federal government believes that they should not allow any growth is River State. Why? Because they believe that River State, if River State grows the way it's growing, it will affect our political fortune. In Nigeria, everything is political, which is not supposed to be. Which is not supposed to be. So, the River State as opposition to the federal government. The River State that look, if we allow the economy of River State to grow, it will affect our political fortune. So let's do everything possible to see the economy of the state does not grow.
Before we delve into more political matters, I want us to wrap up here with this developmental sector. You've built and rehabilitated over 300 roads, 1 doctor's quarters, 17 hospitals, 180 primary and junior secondary schools, 20 secondary schools. You've empowered traders, youth entrepreneurs. You've also claimed that you want to hire 10,000 teachers, 7,000 civil servants. We've been across river states. We've spoken to indigents. We've heard their testimonials. And we've received very positive feedback about the work that you're doing, and we would like to congratulate you on that. However, the issue of unemployment still persists, and that brings me back to my very first question I asked you. What will you do to ensure that the brunt of this issue, these are staggering statistics, they're worth losing sleep over, especially seated at your position. What are you doing to ensure that Rivers indigents are not going to suffer the brunt of this 40% of the world's population who are going to be found living in poverty are not going to come from River State? So what are you doing to create an enabling environment for business to thrive, for young people to be employed?
That's the point, the same point I've raised.
You can't just blame the federal government.
No, with all due respect to you.
Are you
an environment that's not secure, you cannot have investors to come in.
So are you saying River State is not secure?
I'm saying, first of all, that of all our efforts we have made for investors to come in, for investment to thrive, we are being frustrated by the federal government. Take, for example, the federal government has not supported in terms of security. In fact, the security of the federal government has only frustrated us. Now, I say this. If you have a commissioner of police and other security agencies who are not working with state government to provide an enabling environment, conducive environment for businesses to thrive, for investors to come in, what happens? It's a deliberate policy of federal government to make sure that River State does not move to the next step.
Your Excellency, I'm going to oblige you and delve into this political affiliation with development in your state. But let's take this short break, and when we return, we'll talk more River State politics. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Osasu Show. Still with me is the Executive Governor of River State, Barrister Nyesom Wike. Thank you so much for sitting tight.
You're welcome.
Your Excellency, before we went on break, we talked about the developmental sector and what you're doing to drive economic growth in River State. Now let's focus on politics, and this is definitely where I know your strong suit, one of your strong suits lies. So you recently stated that APC was plotting to assassinate you to take over River State. Is this just regular politicking and political utterances that are made closer to the elections, or is there any truth? Do you have any fact to back this up?
But I've said it severally. It's a common knowledge. Everyone knows the antecedent of the present government. And I must tell you the truth. You know that if there's one governor that the federal government doesn't want to see to exist, it's me. Why? Because I believe things must be done in the right way. What have the federal government not done? I said they planned to incriminate or plant objects that will incriminate me in Abuja. And I stated that the Inspector of Police has signed this before he went to Kaduna for a marriage ceremony, and we went to court. And they agreed that they have a right to go to the governor's house or office. Luckily for us, the court said you cannot do that. 2, when the DG of the Department of State Security said that I was planning to economically sabotage the federal government, what were they doing? To implicate me for treason. For treason. When they say assassination, killing, what does that mean?
So you're not talking about physical assassination?
No. I'm only giving instances. And I also said that look, they have planted people. When I move, their own security men, let there be, there was accidental discharge to take my life. What happened? In Egg State, there was accidental discharge. I'm a very careful person. And what people must understand, if you understand the government you work with, if you understand the party that's in control of the system to the federal government, then you must be careful.
But Your Excellency, you are a lawyer. You know that these allegations are not substantiated without hard facts. Do you have hard facts to prove these allegations?
That will be in the court. Why should I give you the facts? You're not accused, first of all. You remember what happened? When they said, I bribed INEC officials. They came and set up a committee to indict me. And I raised an alarm. See what they were doing. At the end of the day, what was the report? They came up with the same report. Luckily for me, I went to court. And the court said this was illegal. So when they say hard facts, verifiable evidence, I cannot make an allegation when I do not have the facts. It's not correct. The government I do know the antecedent. The government I know their mindset. It's the government I know what they want to achieve. So the issue of having facts, neither here nor there. We know this government.
The picture you've painted of the River State 2019 elections and the general elections in general has been very gloomy.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if Nigerians should base whether or not they should go out to the polling units this coming elections based on the picture you have painted, most Nigerians will be sitting at home. Yeah. You've accused the federal government of wanting to kill Rivers people in particular and take your life, take their lives if they come out to vote. Yeah. So do you believe this rhetoric is encouraging to people who have their PVC to actually come out and exercise their democratic right?
No, it's encouraging them to come out, to stand against impunity.
You've told them they will be killed.
No,
those are your words.
You must be prepared. Now, for example, I know that I'm one of those that are allowed to be killed. I sent two residents to join the one of Rivers State. I never knew. But I told our people, from my intelligence report, be calm. They will expose themselves. And they did. Police escorted militants to hijack and counter materials. You had one, Mike Guinea, I've never met him, said on television that he was there and he saw security personnel escorting people to cut away materials. I know, and I want to tell you the truth, the federal government is not prepared for election 2019. What they are planning in Rivers State, I can tell you authoritatively, is that there will be a chaos. There will be a crisis in Rivers State 2019. And then the election will be postponed. When the election is now postponed, and then they will have sent all the security personnel in the country for them now to rig the election of Rivers State.
So have you lost confidence in the system, and do you still believe that you can win in a scenario such as which you've presented?
I can tell you, my fear is, why should I win election when people will die?
So you're not interested in winning your
I don't want to win when people will die. Jonathan said, no one's life, his position, he will never guarantee.
But you have reiterated time and again that people will be killed, blood will be shed. Those are your words.
No, I said that with the way they are going, they want to kill people. They want to rig election. And people will resist it. When people resist it, then there will be bloodshed.
Are you saying you will not contest in 2019, given the fact that the elections it's going to be very contentious, it's going to be very dangerous for Rivers citizens to participate in this electoral process?
All I'm saying is to allow the public. Why should we allow this to happen? Should we allow people to die because we want a position? No.
Your Excellency, there's still so much more to discuss, but we have to let our viewers know that the part 2 of this interview will air next week. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned to TOSTVnetwork.com. Have any of these aspirants promised you the vice presidency?
I can tell you without apology to anybody. Yes, but I said no, I can't.
You are emphatically saying to Nigerians watching today that you will not, 100%.
I will not, and I said it, I will never. It's not in the dream. I've never dreamt any day, and that dream will not come.
So are you saying categorically that you are indifferent about whether the convention holds in Port Harcourt or not?
I want the convention to hold in Maiduguri now. Those people who are crying will lose.
What advice would you give to your brother governor in Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode, giving his rift with his political godfather?
I will tell him to resist it. If it is correct, I will tell him to resist it. God for that reason cannot work in Rivers State. It will never work.